We dip into the prospect brief to check out how some of San Jose's top prospects are faring this season.
You're Locked On Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, welcome to Locked On Sharks, the premier hockey podcast covering your favorite team in the Bay Area. My name is JD Young, caretaker at the Reef, also the co-host of Locked On NHL. I want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first listen, proudly part of the Locked On Network, the number one sports podcast network out there, where we cover your team every day. If you want to be an everydayer, all you have to do is just follow along wherever you get podcasts. And of course, you can watch on YouTube as well. And today we're going to be diving into the prospect brief to look at 6 of these Sharks prospects. We got 2 goalies, 2 defensemen, and 2 forwards. We're going to be kind of checking in on how their games have been going, how they've been developing, and what I have seen as I've been keeping an eye on them. So before we get going with those, do want to let you guys know that today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Download the FanDuel app by visiting FanDuel.com and win $300 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. So even though the Sharks are off to a much better start this season, right? And I know, still keep an eye on the 2026 draft. And but, we do want to check in every once in a while on how the prospects are doing and how these guys are going to continue to filter in and be hopefully big parts of the San Jose Sharks future, how they're doing at their perspective, junior or college level teams right now. So we're going to be looking at, like I said, we're 6 players, 2 goalies, one Joshua Ravensburg and Christian Kirsch. We're looking at Pohlkamp and Haoxi Wang, and then we're going to be looking at Cole McKinney and Teddy Mutryn, and see how just all these players are kind of coming along and, what we think of them so far this season. So let's start with the the other first round pick from this draft, Joshua Ravensburg, playing, of course, with Prince George. So far this season, Ravensburg has played 18 games, 269 goals against average with a .916 save percentage. He has 12 wins on the season and 1 shutout. Ravensburg has been dialed in, to say the least, for the Prince George Cougars. He looks every bit the part of a potential NHL goalie. Not only just potential NHL goalie, you can see a lot of the traits. He has had a massive workload to start this season in the WHL. I think there's 2 goalies who have played more games / minutes than him to start the season. He's like I said, he's played 18 games for Prince George. I know they were dealing with a little bit of an issue with one of their other goalies who had some, if I recall, he had some visa issues to allow him to play in the United States. So Ravensburg had to play multiple back-to-backs in a row, and just rack up games here. And it does not matter for him. He has been so good to start this season. Again, he's played 18 games. Prince George has played 23 so far. That is a lot. That's a massive workload for him, and they've been a very good team, a large part because of his play. His goals against average is 9th, 2.69 is 9th in the WHL. His save percentage is 5th among both. These are among qualified goalies, so I think that's 10 starts or above for the right now. The shots he's seen the 4th most shots. He is looking extremely good for Prince George. You see like the highlight reel saves, but again, I think it's you're seeing more and more of just kind of a calm, like right place, right time type of player with Joshua Ravensburg, and who has the ability to make those highlight saves. And every time he goes out on the ice, you feel like you have a chance to win, or at least Prince George does. And it's clear, right, as they're second in the Western Conference right now, as I'm recording this. Like, he's been among one of the best goalies in the WHL, and a large part of why Prince George is continuing to do well. And it's still going to be interesting to what the Sharks do with him next year, since he is an older part of the 2025 class, where he could be a potential Luca Cagnoni like player, where he can go, like if the Sharks wanted to, they could have him play, turn professional and play in the AHL/ECHL next year, or they could send him back to the WHL, or maybe suggest he goes to college for a season. So we'll see what the Sharks want to do with Ravensburg, but it has been an excellent start for him, or excellent run of play. I know a little bit shaky to kind of start the season, but as of late, he has been absolutely dialed in and playing big time minutes, back to backs. It does not matter. Joshua Ravensburg has got your back. The other big goalie of note, the 2024 pick that the Sharks made in Christian Kirsch, who was a 4th round pick. As a reminder, right, he spent last year, it was in the USHL, and like he was playing in the division below that. Then this year, as part of the new rules, he went over to the OHL to play with the Kitchener Rangers before he goes to play in college next year. I believe it's UMass, if I recall correctly. So far, it's been a great start for him with Kitchener. 15 games, he has a 2.28 goals against average, save percentage at .910, with 10 wins and 1 shutout for Christian Kirsch. And just to kind of where those rankings are for among the OHL. So save percentage, Christian Kirsch is like 9th right now in save percentage in the OHL, and it's pretty bunched up. Like there's a couple guys who are like a couple spots in front of him. Like if he has a big game, like he could easily jump up a couple spots here, but he's got the 2.28 goals against average, is good for 4th in the OHL, again, among qualified starts. Not as much of the like he's not eating as many minutes as some of the other goalies. And I think it's because they have 2 goalies that they really like at Kitchener. But when it comes to shot scene, like he's still like he's kind of facing a fair amount of shots as well, and with it, like the saves, he's still like also facing a fair amount of saves as well. So Kirsch, like the Rangers team has been off to a pretty solid start. It's been a little bit kind of up and down with them, but they've played 1-6 out of their last 10 games here, and they kind of sit they sit in the middle of the Western Conference here, and really kind of a packed Western Conference in the OHL. But Kirsch kind of end of the month, beginning of November, was on a real hot streak where he was just like lights out. Been a little leakier as of late, but still, like, I mean, goalies are going to have they're going to have their kind of ups and downs and stuff, but he just looks like his confidence is renewed. He looks just like a much better goaltender than what I saw from him last year. And like still, it's like, let him go to college. I still think Kirsch is I don't think like he's going to be jumping Ravensburg or anything like that, but I still think Kirsch has a good chance to make an impact for the Sharks organization. Is maybe that potential like 3rd goalie, a really high-end AHL guy, and if you need him some spot starts in the NHL, I think that's kind of probably where he ends up. But he's looking just much better this year, and I think it goes when we talked to him earlier this year, just kind of going back to that confidence thing with him of just feeling like you belong and you feel like the coaching staff has your back. And you can tell with his play that he's definitely feeling it. And he's been having a big time year. And I expect him to be in playing in the World Juniors as well. So it's going to be fun to watch. I'm really excited for him at World Juniors to see kind of what he can do there. So we're going to switch over to the blue line here, talk about Pohlkamp and Haoxi Wang, one guy who's probably going to be making an impact in the NHL maybe as soon as April. And, we'll talk about Haoxi Wang and how his development is going as well. So we'll get to that here in just 1 second. Let's be honest, most of us can't even name all of our financial accounts, let alone what we're worth. Between 401ks, savings, investments, it's easy to lose track, and that can mean leaving money on the table. That's where Monarch comes in. They're an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or on your phone. Great thing about Monarch is it makes it easy to work with your partner. You can have set shared goals. So whether you're trying to buy a house, buy a car, or just plan your next adventure, it makes better financial decisions together. Monarch's visual dashboards and smart tools make it so much easier to understand where your money's going and how to make it work for you. It's like your own personal Puckpedia. Don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONNHL at monarch.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarch.com, code LOCKEDONNHL for half off your first year. All right, before we continue, we talk about Eric Polkamp here. Of course, want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first listen. If you haven't yet, perfect time to subscribe, as we are part of the #1 sports podcast network here at the Locked On Network. We just had Quentin Musty on yesterday. I think you guys really liked that interview from the feedback that I got. We're sticking with the prospects today. Of course, we'll have reactions to every Sharks game. We'll have a bit more Barracuda coverage. Next week, we'll probably do some stock up, stock down, as we're kind of, to end the month there. So make sure you guys are following along wherever you get podcasts. And of course, you can watch on YouTube as well. So let's talk about one Eric Polkamp, who, of course, was part of the 2023 draft with Quentin Musty, was an overager that year. Is at University of Denver, and we knew this year at Denver, right? Zibulium now in Minnesota. This Denver team, right there, they're trying to get another national championship, and as long as David Carl's there, feels like they're going to be in contention for a national championship every year. And Eric Polkamp has been given the keys to the car along the blue line at University of Denver. And so far, ridiculous. 14 games this year. Noted defenseman Eric Polkamp has 10 goals, 6 assists with 66 shots on goal. He finished last year with 11 goals. He is at 10 this year, including a hat trick. If I recall, it was like the 12th hat trick at University of Denver's University of Denver, very storied program among defensemen. So I think the 12th hat trick among defensemen at University of Denver. That's what I'm trying to say. But Pohlkamp has been given the keys to the car, and he is making the most of his opportunity when it comes to creating offense. Again, 10 goals is absolutely ridiculous for a blue liner. He is given a lot, power play one, like he's given all the opportunities to help this Denver team score, and he has been doing a lot with that. And Pohlkamp is a two-way defender. Like, he is a true two-way defender who can drive offense, but also defend, right? This isn't like an offensive like John Klingberg, right, where he's going to, hopefully help you score goals, but the defense is a little suspect. Pohlkamp is a good defender, especially when it comes to defense on the rush, standing up at the blue line and shutting down opportunities there. And does not matter who you are, not the biggest guy, but he plays way bigger than he is. Doesn't matter who you are, he is going to clean up shop in front of the net. I fully believe that as soon as Denver's season is over, he will be a member of the San Jose Sharks organization, and that's a conversation for a different day of the approach to take that, if they should sign him to his ELC so he can play with the Sharks, but then potentially miss Barracuda like we saw with Cam Lynn last year, or like conversation for a different day. But I truly believe unless he wants to try to win a championship or something like that, I think this is Pohlkamp's last year at the University of Denver. And I think he's ready to make an impact in professional hockey really soon. And especially if you're kind of just looking at the Sharks depth chart blue line wise, like if Luca Cagnoni is ready to kind of make that leap and be a full-time guy, him and Matthias Havlet, I think, will be kind of the next two guys who are going to be ready to kind of go there. And if he has to spend some time with the Barracuda next year, which I can very much see as maybe they want to round out his game a little bit, he won't be down there for very long. I think, especially with his work in college and stuff. So I think it won't be long until he's a full-time NHLer, to be honest. And especially as an overager, he's been off to an excellent start this year, and one of my favorite players to watch defensively. Just an absolute wrecking ball out there. It's great to watch. If you ever get a chance to watch Pohlkamp, take it. He is so much fun to watch. So Haoxi Wang. So it's been an interesting year for him and the Oshawa Generals. So like we knew with Wang that like he's going to be a player who's right is not going to fill up the stat sheet. Like he is going to be a defenseman that's may chip in offensively here and there, but like we know that is going to be his role. Unfortunately for Wang and the Oshawa Generals, like this has been a horrible start to this season for them. They're one of the worst teams in the OHL. So far, they have 14 points in 24 games. The only team that's worse is Sudbury, who, just like Oshawa, lost some big name talent. Sudbury lost some guy named Quentin Musty. You might have heard of him. And Oshawa lost Beckett Seneca, who, of course, is having a really great start with his career with the Anaheim Ducks. And, Oshawa, they lost 8 in a row recently. They've gone like 2-8-0 in their last 10 games. Like this is a team that is struggling to score. They are the worst team in the OHL when it comes to goals for. Like the goals allowed, it like actually is not like super. It's bad, but not like the worst. Is just this team has no offense to speak of. And they have to try to grind out all their wins at like 2 goals type of thing. But so there's not a lot of opportunity for Haoxi Wang to get on the score sheet because this team just struggles to score goals. So keep that in mind with him. But I think so far it's actually been a surprising start offensively for him. So 17 games, 1 goal, 8 assists, and with 41 shots on goal during that time. As a reminder, and I think it was like 34 games last year, he had 2 assists. So you're seeing much more offensive production for him. And I kind of like we talked about with Christian Kirsch, you're seeing the confidence come through with his play. Like he plays in all situations, right? He's their first line defender, like he's their top defensive pairing, and he's playing on his offhand on the right side a majority of the time. He's playing on the power play, usually the second pairing. He's playing top penalty kill minutes. Like he is playing a lot of minutes for Oshawa, and you just see the confidence in his decision making increase, and especially his puck handling. Last year when he got, like anytime he touched the puck, he was very hesitant, and you've seen him just feel more and more confident and willing to, like, he's still very much like a kind of up and off the glass type of defenseman, but you're seeing him be more proactive with carrying the puck out and, like trying to kind of push a little bit more offensively and jumping up in the offense more. And it's really good to see from him. And I want to see what happens next year when he's at Boston, which is going to be, much better program than what he's currently at right now. But he's not going to be the main guy most likely there, but I want to see kind of what his role looks like at Boston. So this is still like don't think this is a waste for him, because he's one of those guys who just needs more reps and needs more touches and needs more opportunities. So this isn't like a Quint Musty where he's, clearly too good to be playing in this league or anything like that. Like it's kind of like a nice, like low pressure, like this team is bad. You're going to get a bunch of minutes on a bad team. Where you can kind of work on some of, the things that you need to work on when it comes to puck touches and, positioning and just kind of being in the right place at the right time. And a lot of just the hockey IQ stuff that just comes from playing more and more. So it's kind of a nice, like low stakes position for him. And then next year when he goes to Boston, you can really kind of see that ramp up here and maybe potentially see the offense ramp up a little bit more. But again, like, Haoxi Wang is not going to be like a massive offensive contributor. He's going to be a 6'7" rangy shutdown defenseman who can cover 3/4 of the ice because he's so big and he skates so well. And you see that now with him, with his ability to just track and cover guys. It's pretty great to watch. So we're going to jump over to the forwards here in a second. We're going to talk about 2 of the 2025 forwards. So we'll get to that in just 1 second. The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. So even if you missed the start of the game or just want to ride the hot hand, Steph Curry, I'm looking at you. FanDuel has live bets and everything from who's going to score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets to a same game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. Again, if Steph Curry's going off and doing fun stuff, the Warriors are usually going to win. So it seems like a nice hand-in-hand type of thing. Keeps every game exciting, especially when your team's making that late push. And right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. All right, before we finish up with the forwards, do of course want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the all-new Locked On NHL Game Night. Every game, every night until the Stanley Cup champion is crowned. Great way to keep track of what's going on outside of San Jose, where you hear from, every host and why their team won. And it's really nice, especially during those chaotic, 12 game nights. Just a nice way to go. So find NHL Game Night on Locked On NHL on YouTube, wherever you listen to podcasts. All right, let's start with Teddy Mutryn, who played in the USHL last year and making a pit stop over in the queue before going to college. I love when I like this path for a lot of players, right? Where you're getting a chance to play in the CHL, which you're going to play with more pace, right? And you're going to play just more games, and it's a much different schedule, and the style is a little bit more up and down. And then you go to college and you kind of get that finishing school of, okay, we're going to play a little bit more structure. We're going to play a little bit more heavy. We're going to play, older players. I just like this path for players. I think it's a great potential path for him. So Teddy Mutryn, who's playing with Moncton over in the Q. So a reminder, with the Q is it's very offensive oriented. So players are going to put up more offensive numbers there. The defense is a little bit more wonky. The goaltender is a little bit more wonky. It's more of an offensive oriented league. So just keep that in mind with players from the Q. Remember, Jake Furlong put up was almost like a point per game player as a defenseman one year with Halifax. You see how he's doing now. He's very much like a shutdown defensive defenseman type of thing. So, but Teddy Moncton though is had a really great start here. Or sorry, Teddy Mutryn. Sorry, Teddy Mutryn playing with Moncton. In 18 games, he's got 8 goals, 14 assists with 53 shots on goal. I watched one of his games the other day where he was very much he is a crash the net type of player, right? Where that he is going to get goals the greasy way. He's going to be obnoxious and like in a good way in front of the net, where he's going to make life hard. Very, like you saw some of the playmaking from him as well. The game that I watched, I think they was like I'm not being like, this isn't hyperbole. It was 53 to 46 shots attempts in like a 60-minute game. That's what I'm talking about when it comes with the offense. The offensive numbers that they put up there definitely inflated because they just don't really play defense over there ever in the queue. I think the game was 8-3 or something like that. But you can see the offensive skills from him and the style of play that he wants. And again, what is Mike Grier looking for, right? Those kind of hard-nosed, get to the net, score some of those greasy goals type of players. I think that is what Mutryn is going to be. And I fully expect when he gets to college, it's not going to take him long to adapt to the college game here. So, just keep an eye on Mutryn. I still think he's probably like a third line, energy type of guy who can kind of chip in here a little bit, but you can definitely see his path and where he's kind of headed here. So another, guy who's very easy path for him to, play in the NHL here. That would be Cole McKinney. So Cole's second round pick, of course, he's playing at the University of Michigan as a freshman. In 16 games, he's got 4 goals, 10 assists. So almost a point per game player as a freshman playing third line minutes with 24 shots on goal. Wrote about McKinney recently on The Reef. We're just kind of watching one of his games, and kid, I'll continue to say, kid's a bulldog. You know exactly what you're getting every time he steps out onto the ice. I think he's going to be in the mix for the Sharks, like third or fourth line center position, where he can play tough defensively. He's been already given a lot of big time defensive assignments as a freshman. He is playing on the penalty kill, and he's still putting up really solid production here. Very much, some games where he's not going to be one of those, 2-3 point nights type of guys. He's going to be a kind of chip in 1 or 2, kind of like a point per night type of player, because he's not getting the main opportunities, right? Especially at Michigan, where they have some bigger names in front of him. So don't be surprised this year if maybe the production is down. And then next year, if you have some guys move on, he could be a guy who really see the production jump next year for him, and then could be looking at signing his ELC after 2 seasons at Michigan, just because I think he's going to be so well-rounded, and he's so good, with what he knows exactly what he wants to do. He knows what his role is, and he plays it to a T. He is a great kind of teammate, whatever you need him to do. I'm going to play whatever role. I just want to help the team win type of player. And you can easily see him riding that and being a professional player. Like I said, I think it's probably 2 years. If I had to kind of timeline it, I think it's this year, next year at Michigan. He probably signs his ELC after that. Then he's probably spends a season or so in the Barracuda. Then he's probably a full-time NHLer by then, to be honest. So you're very easy path for him to be an impact player with San Jose. And if he's your third or fourth line center, you're going to feel really good about him and his role and taking on tough guys. And he's already very good in the faceoff. He's already kind of got the Thomas Bordeleau, I can take the draw from either hand type of thing as well. You can tell he's very good at that. And I don't think it'll be very long, and even in the pro game, for him to be an outstanding face-off man as well. So, but yeah, that's just a check-in. There's plenty of more prospects. These are just guys who I've, made it to a point or have watched as of late. So we'll do another one of these check-ins here in a couple of weeks with hopefully some other guys as well. So make sure you guys are following along wherever you get podcasts. And of course, you can watch on YouTube as well. Follow the show on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and on TikTok at Locked On Sharks. Follow me on Twitter and Blue Sky at My Fry Hole. So we'll be back tomorrow. We'll have a preview for the Sharks-Avs game. We'll have a reaction to that. And then we're going to kind of take Thanksgiving off, American Thanksgiving off here. Then we'll be back on Friday. We'll have a nice early morning preview for that game. We'll talk about the Canucks game. I think it's the Canucks. I'm pretty sure it's the Canucks on Friday. We got back-to-back this weekend, so Friday, Saturday. So plenty of stuff coming Friday and Saturday. Get you guys ready. So make sure you guys are following along wherever you get podcasts. And, of course, you can watch on YouTube as well. All that fun stuff. Until then, bye, friends.